Good morning, guys. Welcome to today's training here at 9:47 in the morning. It's good to see you guys. Today we have a double feature. We're going to be talking about do you control your emotions and why no contact is healthy. The real purpose, or one of the purposes behind no contact that we often don't, we're not taught, we don't discuss, we're not aware of that's actually exists. So yeah, that's what we're going to be talking about today. Now, if you're new to me, because a lot of you have been following me, you've joined the community, things like that, I am Burtcher, and I help codependents rediscover their happiness and their well-being after narcissistic relationships, abuse, neglect, love addiction, and I help you accomplish that by getting you unstuck in your healings and your healing path there. So let me get this shared out to the community real quick. Share to the group. So the community, if you're unaware of that, is your safe haven from the chaos of narcissistic abuse. It is also your path towards real healing in your codependency because you receive guidance, you receive tools, you receive support, you receive reflection both from myself and from the badass members of the community. And so you're invited to join that. The link is above on Facebook, below on YouTube. And if you're on YouTube, hit that subscribe button. I'm excited you guys are here. So let me know in the comments that you're here, how you're doing, because there's a fair bit of chaos out there. And I want to touch on that a bit because we're all facing a lot of uncertainty right now in a lot of different areas of our world. So if you're overwhelmed, you're panicked, you're not sure what's going to happen, you're normal. It's an understandable response to be feeling those things in reaction to the chaos and instability that we're seeing right now. So give yourself permission, or consider giving yourself permission to feel what you feel. And that gets us right into, do you control your emotions? This is a question I see a lot online. It's a question I see frequently from students, clients, members of the community, people that I'm associated with. I've read it in books, seen a lot of YouTubes on it, and there's a lot of different takes on this idea of controlling your emotions. And I'm not a fan of the concept. Emotions are like cats. They're going to do what they're going to do. My job isn't to control the emotion or its existence. Hi, Rita. I am well. It's not to control the existence of an emotion. It's not to control what an emotion does when it's in your presence. My job is to become a container for it so that I can accomplish a couple of things. One, I can acknowledge its existence. Acknowledgement allows us to get in connection with it so that we can understand it. Two, leads to legitimization. So if I legitimize what I feel, then I can start to understand what the need is behind the emotion. Because my point of view is that emotions are the voice of need or want. And we want to understand what that need or want is so that then we can nurture it, we can get it met, we can get it fulfilled, either then or eventually down the road, depending on whatever the circumstance is. Okay? So we acknowledge our emotions. We legitimize them so we can understand the need, then we meet the need or want that shows up behind that emotion. And three, this allows us to integrate the emotional experience, which leads to, one, closure, and two, peace. So allow ourselves to have what we feel. Because a lot of times people do three specific things with emotion and trying to control it. The first one they do is they analyze the hell out of that emotion. They want that emotion to go away. Why is it here? What do I do with it? What does it mean? Rather than listening to the emotion. So in the From Addiction to Connection course and the happiness strategy, I teach people how to listen to themselves. And that is the step of acknowledgement and legitimization. It goes in a little deeper than that, but that's the path to understanding and hearing ourselves and becoming what's called self-oriented or self-referenced in what we're feeling and what we're thinking. So we're able to identify with what we feel, acknowledge it, acknowledge what it's trying to communicate to us and legitimize it, then we can integrate it. And that allows us to accomplish that peace and that connection with ourselves. Okay, so we get that closure there. And this gets us out of that game of analysis, because analysis leads to paralysis most of the time, because we're trying to figure out why and then how to control something. Either how to make it do what we want or to prevent it from what we don't want it to do. And that's not how successful has that been in your world? It certainly hasn't helped me out all that much. Second thing we tend to do with emotions is we resist them. We fight them. Now, resistance is a funny little thing, because it in itself is a sensation in the body that requires acknowledgement, legitimization, and integration. Because resistance can be a no. It can be say, hey, this is not what we want or what we need right now. Resistance can be a form of denial. It's like, I don't want to acknowledge it. It's too scary to deal with this. I'm not ready for this. It can be a defense posture, like, I don't want to feel this. This feels dangerous to me. It feels scary to me. And it could be a desire for controlling it, i.e. denying the outcome and insisting that something else happens. All of these have to deal with safety. Resistance is a cry for safety. It's a cry to be held and nurtured and sheltered and understood. So it's an important thing to acknowledge and validate. It's like, of course I'm resisting this. This is really scary stuff. Get into that legitimization. Make it okay to feel what you feel, including the resistance. And the third thing we tend to do is we attach to what we feel. We want to keep it. We hoard it. We want to squeeze all we can out of that emotion. We do this with both positive and negative, or I would say painful and pleasurable emotion. We do that because we come from a mindset of scarcity. We believe that this is all we're ever going to get, so we better just milk it for all we can get. We believe that there isn't a future where that can become more abundant and replenished and frequent in our world. So when we open up to attachment, we can understand that we're just scared of losing what we have. And now we can get in contact with that, acknowledge and legitimize, of course I'm scared of losing this. I haven't had it very frequently in my world. That doesn't mean it's inherently scarce. It just means that your experience has been scarce with it. And that's legitimate. So there's a difference there. Reality is it's abundant, but your experience with it is scarce. So it just means we need to adjust how you're relating to the thing so you get more of it. See? This is built on this concept that all wants and needs are good. It's how we get them met is where chaos tends to come in. And the how has beliefs about it. It has what's called conclusions, assumptions, judgments, and expectations applied to it. It's called a cage. We get out of that and we get into question, we get into curiosity, things start really taking off for us there. So you don't have to control your emotion. Instead, you can allow your emotion to flow. And I teach a simple process that puts all this into action for us using the acknowledgement, legitimization, and integration components. I call it flow. It's the flow method. And it has 3 simple steps: to understand what we think and what we feel, to accept what we think and what we feel, and to allow what we think and what we feel. That allows release to occur, which is the sensation of, wow, this moved through me. It's a really simple concept of how to implement acknowledgement, legitimization, and integration is to understand, accept, and allow what you're feeling and thinking, and let it be. So you can apply the flow method, or you can apply the acknowledgement, the ALI method, acknowledge, legitimize, and integrate. They're going to accomplish the same thing. So there's some tools for you. There we go, guys. All right. Hope that wasn't too confusing, because I think I made it confusing. So you can use the flow method, or you can use ALI, or you can use both. They basically complement each other. They're both the same objectives, to allow emotional flow to occur. If you want to go really deep on those and you want to start mastering this kind of concept, especially with like love addiction or coming to know your value, voice, and vision, with that love addiction, you want to get the From Addiction to Connection course. And you get that by getting your Heal Yourself membership. You can check the link out below. That'll connect you with how you can get that membership. And if you want to go deeper on knowing, loving, and living who you are by understanding your true value, voice, and vision, you want the happiness strategy, and you can learn more about that by getting the Know Yourself membership, which is also listed below. So check those out. Give it a shot. Now let's go to number 2, why no contact is healthy. So we deal with toxic people, frequently with narcissists themselves. One of the strategies people recommend is no contact, cutting off contact with that individual. Thank you, Rita, for that feedback. No contact can feel really harsh. It can sound really harsh. There's people out there that say that this is an abusive tactic towards toxic people, and that way you should really just try to work things out with them. So this starts to get into why it's healthy. Because we need to understand something that's going on within us to understand the utility and the value of no contact. When we have been in an abusive relationship with a toxic person, our brain has been configured to fawn in their presence. It's been configured to give them ourselves. It's been trained to surrender to them. Think about that. It's called fawning. So when we go through a form of psychological abuse with a toxic person, our brain state's put into a loop. It's called the freeze-fawn loop. The brain has 4 options to escape threats. It can fight the threat, neutralize it. It can run from the threat and escape it. It can freeze and play dead, or it can fawn and try to please that person. Well, survivors of narcissistic abuse, survivors of these kind of chaos that we live with, that endure this so much that their brain realizes it can't fight it and it can't run from it. So it needs to freeze and it needs to fawn. And that's how it discovers how to survive this kind of abuse. This is where your codependency comes from, because fawning is codependent behaviors. It's the people pleasing, it's fixing, it's enabling, it's being invisible, it's avoiding them, it's not rocking the boat, it's being ideal, it's being perfect so that they don't get upset. It's that kind of thing. When the brain has this configuration towards a person, it's going to submit to them. It's going to surrender to them until it can get its footing back into its healthy fight, healthy flight response to the threat. And that journey requires the individual to start confronting their fantasy about who this person is, start connecting back to reality, and acknowledging the validity of their experience with them. Without this happening, you're not going to break free of the spell they have on you. This is why no contact is healthy, because your brain is going to submit to them, and you're going to start feeling euphoria again, craving for them. You're going to start justifying their behavior. You're going to start bypassing your own pain. You're going to start denying your own experience, and you're going to go back to them because the brain is triggered back into the freeze-fawn loop. No contact gives you psychological safety and space from this abusive person so that you can begin to break the fantasy, get reconnected with reality, confront what you need to do, and then take the actions that protect you and help you succeed in your well-being. This is why no contact is essential to your well-being. You need psychological space and protection from the abuser so that you can move from the freeze-fawn loop to the self-advocacy or healthy fight, healthy flight responses in your body. So that's why it's healthy. That's its utility. We're not here to grow in tolerance of the narcissist. We're not here to become, so powerful that we don't care that they're in our presence, because our brain isn't going to react that way. Our brain needs time and space in order for it to heal and connect to its well-being so it can succeed in reconstructing its sense of self, its power, its autonomy, and then acting from it. So if you've gone no contact with your narc or your abuser, stick with it. And then focus on the benefits you're gaining with that no contact. The peace of mind, the lack of chaos, the lack of drama, the lack of confusion, the sense of peace your body has. Don't re-engage with them for any reason unless you have a legal matter. And then if you have to do that, keep it on the legal matter. Don't discuss anything personal. This is a gray rock routine. This is essential for your sanity. It's essential for your well-being. And this is how you break free. Okay? So that's our double feature, and that's why no contact is a healthy option, especially for your long-term well-being, so that your brain can heal and you can learn to switch from that freeze-fawn loop to the fight-flight response that's appropriate for you in those situations. Because these aren't healthy people. They're not a person having a bad day. They're not someone with just poor skills. These kinds of people think a certain way. That isn't going to change. They believe their point of view is reality, and that your point of view is just because you're stupid and wrong and you haven't realized that they're right. They don't carry empathy. They don't care about how you feel. They care about what they can get from you. Now, that's a narcissist. Now, you have abusive people who have a myopic point of view and don't really have a strong sense of the reality and validity of other people's experiences. And they can change, but that's not your job, is to wait around for people to change. Your job is to go out and build healthy relationships with people who are healthy, so you can go on and do the things that matter to you in your life. It's as simple as that. So stop tolerating abusive people and start going out and building healthy relationships. People who already show up with that kind of healthiness. Your life will be much, much simpler and much, much easier that way. But that's the journey there, guys. That's what we are confronting here as we move beyond codependency, coming back to ourselves so that we can know, love, and live who we are. Share ourselves with healthy relationships and reconnect to our own personal happiness. There you go, guys. Appreciate you. We are just under 2 weeks before the masterclass, Unmasking the Narcissist. So the link is above on YouTube, or below on YouTube, above on Facebook. It's free. It's September 23rd, 6 p.m. Mountain MDT, Mountain Daylight Savings Time. Show up, learn about the narcissist, learn what they're doing, why they do what they do, how to confront this, and how to understand it so that you're more educated on what these types of brains are, because I look at it as a brain thing. And then you can detect them and move forward and be more secure in your reality. So that link is there. Sign up. Let's see you on that in 2 weeks. Okay? And if you're ready to heal, you're ready to really actually heal, because that's what I create. My clients and students say it all the time. It's like, wow, I'm actually having progress here. Check out the Heal Yourself membership. The link is below on Facebook, or above on Facebook, below on YouTube. You can start for as low as $49 a month. Real healing, really affordable. So go for it. Let me know how you guys are doing. Have a great day, and I will see you in our next training video. Bye-bye, guys.